Hey everybody, it's the man of Manethrin coming to you with another video. Got my pipe full of tobacco. I'm ready to go. I want to talk about a little bit of this man hate stuff that's going on with the Wheel of Time. And yes, this is a couple months old. We all know about this, but since I'm kind of dedicating this channel to uh, Wheel of Time and some very maybe other things, one of the things that really bugged me from the get-go was the man hate. And it started right off the bat of the show when you're watching Maureen get dressed in her little suspender-laden outfit, which, okay, we'll go get into that maybe someday. But she immediately talks about the arrogance of the dragon, of men. And there are a lot of us who are real tired of that statement. Men are so arrogant. And they fail to see, actually, in the history of what Robert Jordan wrote, but also in just daily life. Men aren't always that arrogant. And it actually, when you look at the coin on the other side, it's actually the other side of that argument that is insanely arrogant. You've got the next scene so within the first 2 minutes of the show, you've got this scene being presented where Leandrin is chasing down the male channeler. And never mind all the world building they destroy in this scene. But she makes the comment that when you touch it, you make it filthy. Never mind that the insanely square jaw that this woman is presented with makes me not want to touch the truth source either. But it's really disgusting because the automatic assumption of the show is that unless you hold feminist ideals and you lift women up to be this great paragon of humanity, that you're the problem. It's men that are the problem in this world. And that's the problem that you end up having with shows like this, is that you present one side of the coin, and that's the only side that you want to present. And you end up destroying everything good that's written about it from the point of view of the books. What we have in this world is a discussion about Lews Therin. Now, Lews Therin is the original dragon. Never mind episode 8 when they called him the Dragon Reborn to his face, even though that wasn't a thing. Lews Therin was actually a hero. He was the most powerful channeler, and he was the leader in trying to find a resolution to the war of power that was going on at the time. And we'll get into this here in a minute, this war of power and how that came into being. But Lews Therin saw a problem with the status quo of the war. There was a problem going on in that war. They were losing. And the problem that he saw with it is that they were trying to create these weapons of power to combat the Forsaken and combat the Dark One. And he saw a problem with these weapons because there wasn't any control around these weapons. That if they continue to develop these things, if the Forsaken took control, or somebody else who was evil took control of these weapons, they would be able to use them as well. And he saw an opportunity to seal away the Dark One, seal away all the Forsaken in the Dark One's prison at Sheu Gul, and end the war. That's great. So why would you not pursue this avenue? What is presented in the show as arrogance was actually men stepping up and doing what needed to be done to end the bloodshed, to put a stopgap on evil, and sacrifice all that the individual had in order to preserve the future. That's not arrogance. That's sacrifice, and that's stepping up to the plate to do what needs to be done. That's a man for you right there, folks. What he also recognized was that women needed to be there to help make that seal a more perfect thing. Not, you know, men and women use different sides of the power. So if you have them all combined and using the one power to seal the Dark One away, then you've got both sides working in conjunction. He wasn't wanting to say, hey, men only, let's go boys club and let's go and seal this away. He was wanting everybody in on it. But it was actually the arrogance of the women in leadership positions who joined all the other women up together to deny them the ability to use the other side of the power to help seal the Dark One away. They wanted to continue with the status quo. Bad idea. And so we have the arrogance of one side that prevented the actual uh, perfected sealing away of the Dark One. And so what happened? Luce there and takes the men, and he goes. And they actually successfully seal away the Dark One, but not before the Dark One has a counterstroke and taints the male side of the magical power. Therefore, infecting madness, it was not men that did that, it was the Dark One that did that. So there's no arrogance there. And then you end up having the world doing what it does for the next, few thousand years. Now, how did this all start? And it did all start with a bit of arrogance, but it wasn't started by the arrogance of a man. The biggest arrogance of all was that of a woman by the name of Mirren Aronali. And back in the Age of Legends, she was best known, really, for being Lews Therin Telemon's girlfriend.
Yes! Yes! Say it! He was my boyfriend!
Yes, this beautiful woman was LTT's main squeeze for a bit of time. She was a research scientist back in the Age of Legends, and she was not the most accomplished, and she was not the most renowned scientist back in that day, but she hungered for more constantly. That's her constant drive was more, 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 more. Almost like she wanted to be unchecked. And she was studying new methods of using the one power. Now, this led to her going and trying to bore into the pattern. And so she took a group of scientists with her, and they bore into the pattern, and it released the Dark One's influence into the world. Hmm, must have been a pretty bad idea. She thought extremely highly of herself. And there's an ability in this world to get into the world of dreams, and it's called Teleron. And she considered herself to be the owner of Teleron, to the point where no one could equal her in the abilities of the dream world. This was incorrect. Despite her claiming it, it was incorrect. She also, aside from her uh, insane beauty, because she should be the hottest chick on the show. Yeah, I said chick. Deal with it. But she was extremely possessive over anything that could give her more power, which included her relationships. And Luther and Telamon recognized that really she didn't love him, she loved his power. So he broke it off, found another chick by the name of Ilyana, and fell in love with her and married her. Had a family and all that. Well, that was inexcusable for this woman. But it couldn't have been her fault. It was Ilyana's fault. She infected Luther and Telamon. So she was insane. She went bonkers over this because Luz Theron recognized all she wanted was power. Her desire for more power led her to uh, reject the light, and so she went over to the dark side. And she actually, for all intents and purposes, was using the dark one so that she could overthrow him to a lot of, her own thinking. She wanted that immortality. She abandoned the light because the light couldn't grant that immortality. Um, it could not give her the power that she sought. All her relationships with herself, with men, and with the rest of the Forsaken were all about her positioning herself for more power. So, really, in a sense, lose there in Telamon, and then later, Rand was all about positioning herself for more power. That's all it was. Everybody was a means to an end for her. This is the arrogance of the woman who became known as Lanfear. That is the arrogance that led to the measures that Luz Theron Telamon, the hero of the Age of Legends, had to take to find a resolution to the War of Power. So when we consider the power or the arrogance isn't on the side of men in this story. The arrogance actually resided in women who denied, well, who started the war of power, for one, or started the events that led to the war of power, but two, also denied the opportunity to work together with men to find that resolution and to end things peacefully and seal away evil. So, the man hate in the show is real, and it's unreasonable considering the material that was given by Robert Jordan. So if you're interested in the Wheel of Time, read the books. Pick up the audiobooks that were narrated by uh oh shoot, drop Kate Redding and Michael something. I can't. Pardon me for forgetting the names off the top of my head. Great narration. Pick those up or read the books. They're fantastic. They are fun books. And even the worst of the slog, as in the middle books, even the worst of those is night and day better writing than what we got from Rafe Judkins in this piece of garbage television show. So there's my thoughts on the man hate of the show. Let me know what you think below. Did I get something wrong? Let me know. I'm all open to constructive criticism. Uh, I won't take it lightly, but I won't take offense with it either. So, that's the thing. We can have civil discourse, and I can be a grown up just like you can be a grown up and say, okay, that's your opinion. So be it. So, in any case, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you watching. Shagar Nivran Taishar Manetherin.